The purpose of the HTML5 table element. So we have table elements such as displaying a video, defining a data table, formatting text, creating hyperlinks. Remember, whenever we have table, you can just guess it by the name of the element itself, table. That is, it is used to create a data table, such as a table with this many number of rows, columns, row span, call span, row header, column header. So all of these can be created with the root element as a table. So to define a data table, we will be using table element. So the correct option is option B, define a data table. Displaying video is done with the help of video tag. Format text is done with the help of different tags. Hyperlinks can be created with the help of anchor tags. But for creating table, we must use table element, which CSS property is used to control the space between element borders. So whatever we have elements, between the elements, we want to control the space between the element borders. So whenever we talk about a border, it should be in your mind that it is something called as border, spacing, border. But no, whenever we want to control the space between borders, we can use a property called as margin. So the correct option over here is margin, not any border spacing. So you can think that space between elements means it may be space between, but actually there is no property called as space between. There is a value for the other property called as space between, but not exactly any property is existing called as which has names such as space between. So border spacing, these are just to confuse you. Padding is not used to control the space between the elements, but actually it is used to have space between element and its border, not element's border. So the correct option over here is option A, margin. What does the CSS stands for? So again, very simple question, but these kind of simple question can also be asked so that so you should not get confused and you should not miss such simple question. So here CSS stands for cascading style sheets. Different options have been given: computer style, syntax, centralized style, creative style. But the correct option is cascading style sheet. Just to remember, cascading style sheets. Why cascading? Cascading refers to applying some styles in the form of a file. Sheet means in the form of a file. We will be creating CSS files and we will be applying styles. So that's why it is named as cascading style sheets. Don't get confused with other names. Which CSS property is used to change the background color of an element? Whenever we want to change any background color of any element, any table or any form or any element, there is a property called as background color. Only color means color of element, like the uh, font color. Whenever we want to change, we will be using color, but whenever we want to change the background color of that text, we will be using background color property. So the correct option over here is option A, background color. There is nothing such as bg color in CSS. Bg color are there in uh, bootstrap or tailwind, in some other CSS frameworks, but not in plain CSS. There is no property called as background. These are just to confuse you. What is the purpose of CSS property float? So whenever we want to have one image which is getting aligned or which is getting adjusted with other text. So you might have seen the newspaper where one photo will be there, one image will be there. Beside that image, some text will be there. So image will be in between, the text will be surrounding that image. So such adjustment will be done with the help of CSS property called as float. So adjusting element positioning is done with the help of CSS property called as float. So remember, whenever we want to adjust the element positioning into our web pages, we can do it with the help of float. So changing font style is done with the help of uh, s- other properties such as font weight, font color, font family, such things are used. Controlling text alignment is done with the help of text align property. Shadow can be added with the help of different properties related to shadow. But whenever we have a float, it will be used to adjust the element positioning with respect to other elements. How to apply CSS to a specific HTML using its identifier. So how to find the answer for this? So look at the keyword. The keyword over here is how to apply CSS using its identifier. Identifier is a keyword over here. So we want to apply CSS styles to one HTML element using its identifier. Whenever we talk about the identifiers, there are basically two identifiers available in the CSS, that is classes and IDs. Classes can be accessed with the help of dot operator and IDs will be accessed with the help of hash. So remember, classes and IDs both together we can apply CSS to access the HTML elements. So classes and IDs are the identifiers that we will be using to apply CSS to specific HTML. What is JavaScript primarily used for in web development? Options are server-side scripting, database management, dynamic web page, styling web pages. So whenever we want to style web pages, we will be using CSS. So this is not a correct option. Uh, Server-side scripting can be done with the JavaScript, but it is not a primarily used for web development. It is server-side scripting can be done with the other language as well. Database management, yes, that can be also done with the JavaScript, but again, it is not a primarily used. Why we use JavaScript in front end or in basically in terms of web development? It is to have a dynamic web page behavior. Whenever we want to have a dynamic web page behavior, such as whenever I click on button, I should be able to send my response to the server. Whenever I click on in my e-commerce site, I want to have a add to cart feature. I want to have a search button feature. So such dynamic behavior can be added with the help of JavaScript. So that's why JavaScript is mainly used for dynamic web page behavior. What is the correct syntax for declaring JavaScript function? JavaScript functions can be declared with the help of different syntax given over here. We need to identify a correct syntax. The first syntax is function equal to my function. Actually, whenever we want to declare JavaScript function, we need to use a keyword function. But here we are assigning the my function to function keyword, which is incorrect. Function is not any variable. We cannot assign it. It is a syntax error. Declare function my function. We are using a keyword declare, which is not available in the JavaScript. So this is option B is also incorrect. Option A is incorrect. Option B is also incorrect. Third option, function my function. So here the function keyword has been used correctly. The name of the function is my function. It is also correct. After that, we have a pair of brackets for holding the uh, parameters, and after that we have a function body. So option C is correct as per the JavaScript syntax. Here in the option D we have a create keyword. There is no such keyword called as create, so this is also incorrect. So the correct option is option C, function my function, with a pair of brackets after, followed by that curly brackets.